Alright, welcome back. Today I'm going to go over what a path is. Just jump right in. A path is a vector-based selection or shape or a different number of different things. It's very useful in making selections. It's vector-based, which means that it is a math-based uh, algorithm to where it's either on or off, so it's either a 0 or a 1 in the code. I'm going to draw really quick a quick path to demonstrate how this works. In your tool palette, there's a section in here that's completely dedicated to paths. It's right underneath the dodge tool. It's the freeform pen tool and the pen tool. The type tool is basically vector. Then you can select your path selection and your direct selection tool. Those select the paths you create, and then there's the shape palette, which creates vector-based shapes with paths. So I'll start out with the freeform pen tool and just draw a quick path. We'll just do a kidney-shaped circle, and as you get closer back to the original part, you'll see a little O pop up on your pen. You can just go ahead and release, and it'll make a new shape layer in your layers palette. You can edit the color by double-clicking on this next to the thumbnail. Change it to red. But as you see, when I zoom in really close and to the edges, as I get closer and closer, there's minimal pixelation around the edge. So paths can be very useful in creating selections. You can take what you've drawn as a path and make it a selection in your paths palette, which is in the layers grouping next to channels and paths. So I see shape 1 vector mask is in my paths palette. I can click on this, and then in the bottom you can click on load path as selection. So I'll click that. So let's say I wanted to edit the photograph, make a layer mask using this shape. I'll unlock my background layer, okay, and I'll hide my shape 1 layer. So I have this selection, and what I can do is make a layer mask out of this with this current selection. So add the layer mask, and there's my kidney shape. So paths are very useful. You can go back in and re-edit these. I'm going to redo this really quick and deselect and load that path. Here's path 1. There's a different one that I had earlier. You can use the selection tool. I believe it's A on the keyboard. Path selection tool, and you click on it. It'll bring up these nodes that you can move around and edit. I'm going to use the direct selection tool to grab one of these nodes, and you can see when you click on it, it has these 2 little arms that come out. These edit the curve of that particular line segment in between this point and this point. So you can make practically any shape you can dream up using paths and the pen tool. You can click on each one. You can move nodes around just freely. And then you can go back in once you're done editing these paths. You can go back in and load this new edited path as a selection. So it's very powerful. You can maintain your path in the path palette. It'll always be there unless you decide to delete it, which in this case I will really quick to demonstrate how the pen tool works. So I'll drag it down to the trash. My path goes away. We will use the pen tool. And what this does, every click you make, it'll make a new node on between line segments. So I will click once and click twice, just in another spot of the canvas, and you'll see it'll make a straight line. This path is still open, meaning it's not closed yet. It's not a closed shape. Right now it's just a line segment in between these 2 nodes. So I'm going to click again, and hold, and then drag. And as you see, it'll bring out those arms so I can make a curve to this line segment. But be wary when you bring out these arms, wherever you click next will have this bend on it, because this arm right here is only applying to this line segment right here, this curve. But when I click again, there's another arm segment or arm that's going to affect a line segment that's not there yet. So I'm going to click just right here, and as you can see, without even drawing or making new arms on this new point, it already has a curve on it because of the previous arm node that I've drug out. So you can create interesting curves this way, but if you wanted to avoid this, if you wanted to delete the arm that is not affecting a segment, you hold Alt and drag your pen over that last node, and you'll see on your pen tool it'll bring up a little upside down V next to your pen tool, and you click and it'll erase the current or the next line segment. So when I click again, you'll see that these lines are just straight as opposed to bent like that the other example I just did. So we'll close this path. Go back to the starting point, and you'll see a little O pop up, and go and click, and that'll close the work path. And this created a new shape layer, which is not a problem, but you can take this and load it as a selection just like you can any other path. Paths are very powerful. You can edit them. It's a very technical way to select things. I'm going to give you guys an example of what etching is here in the next, I think next Friday, not this Friday, but the next. And it's probably the most consistent way to select something using paths. You can select something out of a very difficult background, and it's very useful to use in your documents. You don't need to use it all the time, but it does pose very useful in some occasions. So that's what paths are. If you have any further questions, email me, and I'll see you next video.